Please, please, please don't forget to raise gentlemen with good manners.
I am a proud father. I have a 17-year-old son. He's getting ready to graduate from high school, and he's got his very first relationship. One of the best things that I've heard and has just carried with me is when his girlfriend, now they're 17 years old, they're a senior, well, he's a senior in high school, she's a little bit younger. But one of the best things that I've heard, and I don't know if she intended to say this or really knew what she was saying when she said it, but she said, when I look at your marriage, I am hopeful for ours. Now, it's young love. By the way, I'm in my family home late at night, almost 1 a.m., and you can hear my dishwasher and stuff. So just ignore that. But what I loved about that comment from her, she probably won't ever remember that she said this. Um, is it meant that we were teaching our son to be a respectful young man? I have repeatedly, because I know me and he is the carbon copy of me, I have taught him to forego physical pleasure, to do all of that stuff because he needs to respect this young woman. What if they don't get married and they've been physical and intimate and they have to carry that? Now, I know that our society is saying all the opposite. And there's this interesting pushback against purity culture. And I understand that to a point because it feels burdensome to a lot of people. But what the reality is, we are respecting ourselves as young men, and we're respecting the daughters of somebody else's family. And we're saying, you know what, we're going to forego these things because there's a better purpose out there. And we're going to open the door for these young women and we're going to care for them and respect them. Just in case we break up, they will have something to be proud of that they had a relationship that was good. And maybe it hurts to break up. They're going to go on to the next relationship and possibly their husband in the future. And they won't have anything to be ashamed about. They won't feel guilty when they finally get to be physical with their husbands. I know that's different from a culture, but I am so proud that my son is modeling that. Now, if he comes to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I had sex and she's pregnant," would that go against our values? Of course. Would I say, "Hey, let's talk about some accountability, but let's also talk about some consequences of this"? But guess what? You have 100% support for me and your mom. That all starts from teaching him respect and loving everyone around him, and especially loving the people that they're with. Be respectful. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Open the door. Be respectful. Be the first one at the job to say, "Yes, I'll do that." Don't have a second hesitation if a boss tells you to do something. "Yes, sir, I'll do that." Why? Because he's a reflection of my values. And so if I can teach him my values and how to be, what a great testimony for what I am. He gets to reflect who I am. And guess what? I know that the society is at large will say, "Well, that's a horrible thing that you're saying right here." And here's what I'm going to say: my values come from God, and I get to reflect those values. Is it perfect? Reflection of things that we've seen in society with Christians, and we've been horrible and whatever. You can cherry pick whatever to say how horrible Christians are, but the reality is, my values are good because they make everything around them better when we do it right. And I want him to be a husband. I want him to be a respectful worker. I want him to be known in his circle of influence as, "Man, that kid is oh, he irks me when he talks about all the things that he knows, just like his father does. Oh man, he really irritates me with these things, but he is respectful, he is honorable, he is good." And I can honestly say that about my son. 17 years old, and he's growing into be a very good man, incredibly smart, incredibly capable. We need fathers to invest in their sons. We need fathers to say, you are doing so good. I'm disappointed with this. You could have been better at this. It's okay for fathers to be like, dude, you're not hitting the mark right now. We need to be better. But guess what? Man, you're such a good son. Man, you're so respectful to your girlfriend right now. And I'd love for you to be better in this area. It's okay. One of the things I think society does too is they shame fathers for discipline. We don't need discipline in our lives. We hear this all the time, not in words, but in action. We hear this all the time in Hollywood. We hear this all the time in mainstream society, or even in the school systems, where they're saying, do whatever you want, do whatever feels good. But discipline brings joy. Discipline brings a love for others. And discipline brings gentlemen. Discipline brings men that are going to make great decisions for their families and for their communities in the future. So Jenna is completely correct. We need to be raising really good, respectful men. We can do that very easily by just praising and correcting gently and making sure that our sons are good model people for their future wives and their future people that they have influence in. By the way, we love Dharma and Greg. I watch their stuff all the time. It's beside the point. I'm just fangirling at this point. All right, bye.